Salamu ya Waluya. Sasa Muluya ni mtu anakusalimia akikutusi, si ndio? Kama tako hii bro, I for your friend, mwambie kama tako hii, shika hii, shika hii, twende nayo, twende. Nione mabega, nione mabega, nione mabega. Ehe, we tumesema mabega sio wivu. Ehe,
yanza uninde na njelele titi kalundo, yanza uninde na njelele titi kalundo. Baida baida mwana inyanya mwana mabele, mwana indumbu, yanzo mudara bukato.
Hao ni Waluya, twende tu pole pole, tuna celebrate.
Tumisa kubezimu, I swear unange kubebindu, I swear tumisa kubezimu.
Kwani mnaijua? Hakuna kukaa, niko na dakika 2 peke yake. Twende hapa. Aya, nataka nionyeshe energy sasa. Mahali ya kulia tunalia sisi wote sasa. Shika kichwa, shika kichwa. Nisikie, nisikie, nisikie. Siwasikii? Ehe. DJ from the top, DJ from the top. Unajua, wacha nisikie hapo sasa. Unajua tumehangaishwa town sana. Unaambiwa leta simu ama upakwe, si ndio? So nataka tulie kwa pamoja, si ndio? Tulie. Aya, tafuta space, tafuta space, tafuta space, lazima tulie. Tunalia like we mean it, si ndio? Aya, twende nayo, twende nayo. Mabega, mabega, mabega. Kila mtu shika kichwa, shika kichwa, tulie kwa pamoja. Ehe, ati tulie sisi wote gai. Na watu wameatibrekiwa huko nyuma. Hey, hey. Aya, ando wa nyumba, twende nayo. Nisikia tunaimba sisi wote, si ndio? Aya, twende hapa, twende. Tunaimba sisi wote, si ndio? Nisikie. Ati ati maisha. Ehe, DJ Lodi. Eko 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 twende. Eko eko moja ya Wakamba tumalize, moja ya Wakamba tumalize, moja ya Wakamba tumalize. Twende hapa, twende hapa. Yani the international band. Hawa ni hii number 1 eh? Nisikie tunapiga nduru, si ndio?
Thank you MC, asante. Asante, asante, asante. Haya, haya, haya. Thank you mwanafunzi. Thank you. I think next time organizers umeona, next time inataka tulete kitu usiku. Sasa kutoka saa 6 usiku tuweke free mpaka tukue na breakfast tukienda nyumbani. I have seen that, I've passed your message. Next time we are doing it better. So welcome to the afternoon session. Asanteni sana wale wamerudi. Good. Thank you very much. So, karibuni sana afternoon session. We are ready to start. Our chair is joining us soon, and we have the panelists ready. Are you ready for the afternoon session? Piga duru nisikie kidogo ile. Na mbona mlikuwa mnapiga kubwa ile time. Anyway, asanteni. So, an announcement before we start. Number 1. KBC wameniambia niwaambie ya kwamba as from 6 p.m. watakuwa nafunga mlango because there will be a session live and those who will be here will be facilitated kwenda nyumbani usiku. Kwa hivyo sina mambo mengi, hiyo ndio tunajua. But know that you'll be taken care of as you go home in the evening because it will end up around 8:39. So you better inform your people that you're going to be late, but you're going to get home. Number 2, if you wrote any questions, some people have come saying that hawakupata majibu. The questions have been taken care of. We have our file. Somebody is compiling them. Some will be addressed in this session. Others will be taken care of by the panelists. So don't lose hope. Next session is a different topic. Just raise the questions and we shall be able to address all of them. So with those few remarks, I would want to welcome Naomi of Royal Media Services to come and pick over from there and welcome the panelists for the afternoon session. Thank you very much. Naomi, karibu sana. Ongeza volume, anapenda ya Wakamba ili akupiganisha miguu. Anaweza ama hawezi? Gen Z mko nje, Gen Z. Mko nje. All right.
Wala ungenikosea ungenichezea hiyo ya Kikamba, umenikosea tena mbaya sana. Hi everyone. Unajua shida ya kushiba, Madam Principal. We are very grateful for the food. Lakini thereafter kausingize kanakuwa kanaitisha. So mkizubazuba utanifanyia hapa dance kidogo ndio tuchue tuko pamoja. Karibuni sana to the session in the afternoon. Ningeomba panelists wako. Moja kwa moja waite. Ningeomba panelists join me up here and I will call you one by one. Msijali. Nitawaita. Na kila mtu nikipea maua yake, si ndio? Hapo sawa. I will tell you who I am. I will tell you what I do, what I'm about in a short moment. All right, super. My name is Naomi Mbuvi. I do many things. First, najua nakaa Gen Z. Kama unakubali weka mkono juu sema I. Wengine wanasema nakaa millennial. Kama unakubali sema I. Kuna tumadharau kidogo hapa tu millennial. But I'll try next time. I'll try better to look like a Gen Z. Nitawaambia tukisonga where I lie. I work for Royal Media Services and Citizen TV. I host the Land and Property Diary. I wear 2 hats. I am also head of business. Hapa mkutaka advertising, mkuje tuongee. Kemu is not complaining, so I'm sure you will not complain. All right, I want to invite the panelists. Ndio mkutaka kujua mengine hapo nitawaambia. Are you single or not? Do you have children or not? Tutajua tukisonga, si ndio? Lakini ukiniuliza hiyo swali pia mimi nakurudishia. Na namba ya simu ni hizo, tutajua tukisonga. All right? To start us off, I want to start with doctor. Lakini hizi madam, hizi majina zina nini kidogo? Professor, doctor. Maybe when I grow up nitafika hapo. Najua tuko university, hatuko mtaani. Dr. JKS Makoha, who is currently serving as a senior lecturer at Kenyatta University, specializing in African literature, youth subcultures, and postcolonial studies. He teaches literature, theater, and film at undergrad and postgrad levels. He is an author of notable books including Style in African Literature for 2012 and Cultural Archives of Atrocities 2019. He's also a public intellectual with regular contributions to Kenya newspapers. He's a published poet of Nest of Stones for 2010, among others. He is the Secretary General of the Literature and Performing Arts Society of Kenya. and he's the warden of non-resident students at KU's Directorate of Student Affairs. Karibu sana Dr. Makoha. Mukilapia mtu akikuja juu.
Hapana, ngoja kidogo, ngoja DJ Makoha, ngoja prof. Lazima ingie na ile haleluya kidogo. Hayo unamwekea gani? Tuone vile mabega inasonga. Haya, tukienda. Sorry.
Super. Second, we have Florence Achala. She's currently serving as the Students' Vice President of Kenyatta University. She chairs the Health, Accommodation and Catering Committee to enhance student welfare. She's an innovation-driven leader with experience in global competitions like the Earth Prize. She has led many projects focused on water pollution, sustainable energy, disaster resilience, and waste management. She is a passionate mentor committed to youth empowerment and future-focused leadership. She also advocates for servant leadership, community impact, and sustainable development in Africa and beyond. Karibu sana, Florence.
Wapirichi mwalimu anayekupenda pendana naye, Daddy anayekupenda pendana naye.
Fantastic. We have Dr. Lucy Ikiara. She's a PhD holder currently serving as the Registrar Academic Affairs in KEMU. She is an expert in academic leadership, curriculum management, and quality assurance. She holds a PhD in education leadership and management from KEMU. MED ni masters ama ni gani hiyo? MED. Masters in education, si ndio? Aya. Msinibebe vibaya. Nitawaambia penye masomo ilifika. Trust me, lakini iko chini sana. Masters in education education management from Kenyatta University. B education.
Education, B.Ed.
Egerton University. She's an experienced lecturer and supervisor at undergraduate, graduate, and postgraduate levels. She has research interest in ICT in education, quality assurance, and governance in higher education. She's actively involved in academic policy reforms and program development, and she's committed to mentoring and advancing higher education for societal transformation. Karibu sana, Dr. Lucy Ikiara.
Ai, daktari unaimba kidogo. Ai. Ane. Yes. Show them.
Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze.
Wonderful. We have Ronnie Otieno, who is currently a student at Kiambu National Polytechnic. He is the president and CS Finance KINAPSA, Kiambu National Polytechnic Students Association in the year 2025, and is the chairperson and president of TVET's Student Association 2025. Karibu sana Ronnie Otieno.
Hey, Otieno, wacha kuwa serious bana. Wacha kuwa serious. Hapana kuwa serious.
Fantastic. Safia Guyo is up next. She's currently the president of Students Association here in KEMU. She's an advocate for female empowerment, equality in resource allocation, and peaceful conflict resolution. She's passionate about youth leadership and creating inclusive leadership spaces. She's an avid football lover who values teamwork on and off the field. She is known for her intellect, positivity, and authenticity. She is committed to inspiring others to lead with confidence and purpose. Karibu sana Safia Guyo.
Hiyo ni ya Marisabit. DJ, hiyo ni ya Marisabit. Kumbe wako na nyimbo.
DJ ni kama hiyo ngoma imekubamba kidogo. Juu hata umalize, hata nikikuangalia ni hivi hutaki kumaliza hiyo wimbo. Utatuambia imekugusia wapi. Super. Last but not least, I want to invite Dr. Eliab Serone Some. Dr. Eliab Some is a visionary leader, educator, and mentor whose life mission is global transformation for excellence, from womb to tomb and from generation to generation. He currently serves as the Deputy Vice Chancellor at Kenya Methodist University, where he leads institutional reforms in planning, finance, and infrastructure. Anchored in scripture, which is very important, anchored in scripture, guided by wisdom, and passionate about legacy, Dr. Some bridges experience and vision, offering insights that speak to both elders and youth alike. Karibu sana, Dr. Eliab.
Good.
I know you are me, I always said I'm in my way.
When I came here niliambiwa niko na co-host na co-moderator. Sijui kama amenihepa, lakini najua lazima atanisaidia. Let's welcome Dr. Titus. Yuko wapi? Lazima kuja na energy yangu bwana. Super, karibuni sana. Panelists, very happy to see you here today. Nikiangalia sisi soma penye where you lie, which is a very good thing. Sijui wewe ni Gen Z, Gen X, Gen Y, which is a good thing for today's conversation. And I know today this conversation has a lot and everything to do with the different generations and especially Gen Z. So what I really want is for you to talk to us, talk with us, tuongee. We don't want to talk at you. Hakuna cha kutalk at anybody. I'd want to hear a lot from you, your feedback, your questions, and let's interact more. Now, I want to ask a question before I sit down and continue with the conversation from down there. I want to ask, who do I start with? Let me start with you. When I ask you, let me ask you your name. You have a mic on your table?
My name is Safia Guyo.
Uh-huh. From where?
I'm from Kenya Methodist University.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
In the country, you're from where?
I'm from Marsabit, a place known as Sololo.
Okay. Nobody ever says me I'm a Kenyan. When I ask you where you're from, you don't say I'm a Kenyan. Because she's very nice. She said I'm from Kemu. That's where she's coming from. She didn't say she's coming from Marsabit, Moyale, nimetoka Machakos. But nobody ever says I am a Kenyan. And there's nothing wrong with that because the person if a Mzungu asked you the same question, you probably say I'm from Kenya. Then they'll ask you a daft question like, Kenya is the capital of Africa, something like that, and you know how to answer that question. But nobody ever says, and what brings us together in Kenya, we often identify ourselves with ethnicity, region, religion, and you can see tell even from the music, we dance to what favored us. DJ akamua kila mtu na penye natoka. And you got it right, yangu you got it right, Mukamba, you know. But then how do we reframe these identities so that they can enrich us other than, they can enrich us rather than divide us? I don't know who wants to take that question. Maybe I go back to you. Did you get my question? Or I take it again?
Yeah, read it again.
Okay, sawa.
Okay.
We always identify ourselves based off where we've come from or our religion, you know, our region where we come from. And that is before we say we are Kenyans from your nationality. The question is, how do we reframe these identities so that we can enrich each other rather than divide us?
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, before I answer the question, this is a really important event because we are here to bridge the gap that had been set by previous generations before. It's just to show that not only one generation has an answer. Coming together, we will have a very definite answer. Okay, to the question, I don't think we really need to reframe these identities in order to enrich us. We thrive in diversity. Diversity only becomes a problem when it is weaponized. If it is humanized and it becomes like we understand each other from where we come from, and we stay true to our identities, it will enrich us. But there's no need to actually reframe these identities because that is what we are. I am seated here in my Muslim clothing. It is not affecting anyone, but if you're not tolerant to me, that is when it will affect you. So that we don't need to reframe these identities. These are our identities. This is where I come from. This is who I am. And when we all understand that is when we will enrich ourselves. So thank you.
Dr. Lucy, I'd like to ask you the same question because you're from a different generation. What is your take on that?
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, before I respond to the question, I want to thank the organizers of this event for bringing us together to have a conversation. Coming back to the question, in the morning we had a conversation in the chapel, University Chapel, a staff in Kenya Methodist University. And one of the things that came out from our assistant chaplain is that he put a statement to us about diversity that has been ringing in my mind since morning. Utamu wa shuka or kitenge ni rangi mingi. Are you getting it? Utamu wa kitenge ni marangi mingi. So what does this mean to us? We are people from different communities or ethnicity background. We are people from different cultures, different foods, many things you can call them. For me, what we are supposed to do with these differences is to harness them so that we can build strength from these differences. We need to bring ourselves together and leverage the strength from each group so that we can build that Kenya that we want. The question is that Kenya that we want, whereby we have equitable resources, we are included in power sharing and all those things so that we build a country that is able to live beyond us. I'm Gen X.
Thank you for clarifying. Gen Zs, do we feel like it matters where someone comes from? Does it matter? I'd want to hear from you. Does it matter kama mimi ni Mukale? If I'm from Western, kama nimetoka Central. Someone give me an answer. Someone talk to me. You're saying no? Joe niambie why. Niko na mic.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Sept, King's College. The question was if it matters that one is from a certain diverse community. it doesn't matter because all the problems that we face in general. If we say we choose a certain leader from a certain tribe, it doesn't matter because that leader is going to lead us as Kenyans, not us as Kalenjins or us as Luos. So the problems we are facing right now, let's say the politics we had in 2022, they elected him, they elected the leaders because it was a tribal politics. So when it came to election, a certain group from a certain region decided that it's going to be this leader. So, but when it comes to us, we saw that the problems that this leader will bring, it affects us all. It doesn't affect that region. In fact, that region that elected him is the one that is suffering the most. But in terms of us having that one leader, it affects us all. It doesn't matter whether you're Kalenjin, Luo, Islamic, Christian, Hindu, we all are affected. If you look at the streets, there's no one that goes to the street is a certain tribe. It's a Kenyan. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else who wants to add? Yes, please.
Thank you. I'm Kerubo Mangera, and the answer that I have, I think it doesn't really matter when it comes to issues of love, respect, what you have in the brains, and actually what you're bringing to the table. But where I find most of the time it come in handy is when understanding a fellow human being. For example, when we are relating with one another, and I want to understand why this particular gentleman amekasirika na mimi juu nimemjibu with a particular tone. So I find, okay, having interacted with because I'm in a department where I am interacting with a lot of people from everywhere, I tend to use it in trying to understand the best way I can talk to them without really having a conflict. So for instance, I've come to understand that pointing fingers to particular people from a particular part of the country is not okay. It causes a misunderstanding. So for that matter, it comes in handy to know this and this is not right, depending on their culture. But when it comes to the brain, what they're bringing to the table, love, because most of us, we are born from families that are, like my father is a Kisi, my mother is a Kalenjin. So that one doesn't really matter when it comes to how I respect you. But rather, for us to have a humble coexistence, I need to know so that I can know I'm not supposed to shake your hands. Like I'm meant to understand I'm not supposed to shake hands of a Muslim, rather I'm supposed to wave at them. You see? Yeah. Thank you.
All right, super. Anyone else akona maoni tofauti? There's a song that goes, "Mimi nataka tu mugale." And you see, when you see a Kale, you know this is a Kale. You see a Kao, you know this is a Kao. And those things, we must agree, are still there until today. How do you ensure that even those silent, because you may not, I don't care if my neighbor is Mugale or is an Indian or whatever it is, but how do you ensure that those things that have been there for generations, because they're still with us, do not affect us, you know, our generation and the generations to come? I want to hear from somebody else. The last person, then we go to the next question. Yes, please.
My name is Maurice Moteti, and I really feel that it's really important who you are. So it's very important to say I'm a Kamba. It's very important for you to say you are a Kikuyu, a Luo. There's nothing demonic about that. Recently, we all know that our former vice president, or rather deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, has been demonized for decrying about the people of the Murima. And most recently, he was also demonized for talking about the cousins. You remember those instances. But there's nothing wrong about that. What is wrong is only our mentality about these tribes. Because in the past, they have been used to divide us. And so the problem is not the tribe. The tribe was there before you. you found the tribe there. We must respect the tribes. We must nurture these cultures, and we must even tuzipigie debe tuseme this is our identity. This is who we are. We are proud as Africans, as Kambas, as Kikuyus, as Merus. We are proud of our community, but we must stand firm as Kenyans and refuse to be used to fight against each other as communities. We must stand as Kenyans and refuse being, as Guyo has said, being weaponized in terms of communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Before Dr. Titus takes the next question, I want to ask Florence, what do we need to do as young people to ensure that this ethnic thinking that has been there over time, we change it? What do we need to do as young guys?
As people from different generations, I view myself as a Kenyan first before I identify myself as a Taita. So as Kenyan people, if we can identify ourselves as Kenyan first before the other tribes, let us take them as cultural assets and not fault lines. Being from whatever tribe, we celebrate music, we celebrate food, we celebrate different cultural practices. Let us view them as cultural assets and not fault lines. If we bring our ethnic pride together, it all forms a national pride. So if, like for example, the other day we were celebrating Harambee Stars. We didn't go to the stadium to celebrate Harambee Stars as a particular tribe. I was not shouting at Kasarani to celebrate them as a Taita, but I was celebrating them as a Kenyan. So if we do all these practices, all this, the pride that we have in our different ethnicities, we celebrate music, we celebrate food, let us celebrate them as Kenyans. For example, the coastal biryani from the Swahili, it is eaten by everyone as Kenyans. Nyama choma made by a Maasai, it is eaten by everyone as Kenyans and not as a particular tribe. Yeah.
Great conversation indeed. And as we continue trudging on, I would like to throw this question to Dr. Some, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration and Finance at Kenya Methodist University. Dr. Some, older generations have lived through independence. Older generations have lived through multi-party struggles. And they have seen constitutional reforms. While younger ones are living in a completely different space of challenges, navigating through digital globalization. How can we mirror these two different generations and bring their perspectives together to harness some form of unity? Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for this question. First of all, every generation faces its unique challenges, but all generations learn from those challenges and they gain insights from those challenges. If you take the most documented generational issues, the migration of the children of Israel from Egypt, 40 years in the desert and only 2 people entered the land. They did a memorial as they were crossing Jordan. And they said, one day, if our children ask us what happened in Egypt and what happened in the desert, they say, this stone shall remind them. Therefore, every generation have a right to leave a footprint in our country. That one day, these people live, but we learn from them. So the first is intergenerational transfer of lessons learned and insights and memorials and artifacts. You go to the Kenya National Museums, you can go and find my little tribe, which most of you don't know. I am an Akiot. You go to Akiek, you can learn how we used to live in the forest before that. Finally,
before you proceed, Dr. Some, which part of the country are those people found?
They have been assimilated in 3 parts. We have one in Kericho, and the other one in Nandi, and one in Nyahururu, and we have one in Kasese, Uganda.
Very well.
They are remnants. At the moment, the number is very small. I wanted to complete by saying every generation will develop approaches, principles to the problems that they faced. These are very, very important and tested approaches and frameworks as well as principles. This is why we are in the university, to learn those principles and approaches and frameworks that have been used by Einstein and others. If they did not document their insights, knowledge, we would not be accelerating our learning. So it's very important to learn from every generation and document for the benefit of those coming after us. Thank you.
All right. At times I do tend to think the older generation has gone through all those things, multi-party, sijui independence. There's a way that they were brought up and there's a way that the times were, that they get very shocked with how the Gen Zs do their thing. Is it a problem for the Gen Z, how the expectation on how to behave, how to express yourself, how to do your thing, because the person telling you is of that other generation? Is it a problem for you? And I'd want to ask, let me ask the gentleman, Ronnie.
Thank you once again for giving me this chance. Okay, the problem is not that, but the problem comes in whereby you see now with the Gen Zs, we are living at another time that the Gen Y is also seeing, but they had lived their lives at that, their very first point at the back. The challenge being is that you find how we grow and how we are raised up is very different. You find that at times the environment that we are raised in gives us a challenge. You find that someone is raised by a single mother, someone is raised from the orphanage, someone is raised with some characters. When he or she does something wrong, he is right. You see such families, the challenges. But if you compare it to the older days, we find that those of our great-grandparents during the independence, they could sit down their grandchildren, teach them, coach them. And again, on another end, ladies were not allowed to mix with men, gentlemen. You see that perspective towards that end. Now when we compare it to this end, education brings us together. So like how we are brought up really differs now with the Gen Z and how the older people were brought up during the time that they are growing up as youths. Yeah, the character really differs.
All right, thank you. Now, kindly allow me to introduce one of our panelists who is here, Dr. Professor Evaristus Irandu. He's currently a professor of travel, tourism, and economic geography in the Department of Geography, Population, and Environmental Studies at the University of Nairobi. He has served as the chairman of the Department of Geography and Environmental Studies from 1999. Kuna wenye mko mmezaliwa. 1999 to 2005. He's a long-standing lecturer at the University of Nairobi, supervising numerous undergraduate and postgraduate students. He developed a scholarship on intelligent transport systems and urban mobility. He's a licensed lead environmental impact assessor and auditor by Kenya's NEMA, and is a member of the Environmental Institute of Kenya. Professor Irandu, karibu sana. Okay. All right. Now, I wanted to hear from you. You want to?
Okay, thank you. My name is Mark Kipchumba, and I would like to give my input on the difference between the Gen Y, those who were born in the early 60s, and the Gen Zs. So the first difference is the economy. For example, in the year 1963, the Kenyan population was approximately 4 million, and our economy was really good. That in the year 1963, we gave Korea, we supported them by giving them around $10,000 US. You can check it from your internet. The economy was really good. The Gen Zs are born at a time when they know their rights. Because during that time in the past, our parents, for that matter, our great-grandfathers, they were not really literate compared to this time. In this country right now, majority of the population is literate. And somebody said, hii Kenya wajinga ni wachache sana. So the truth is, that what brings the gap between the Gen Zs and our parents is actually the economy and also the exposure. I believe wazazi wetu waliuziwa uoga sana, and the two regimes, ya mzee Jomo Kenyatta na ya Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. Asante sana.
All right, thank you for that. I'll come to you, Professor Irandu. I know you've just come in, but I know you cut across. You're a baby boomer, I believe. And now you every day you operate with different generations over your years. Do you think, does your generation struggle to understand the millennials and especially the Gen Zs in this era? I can give you
senior professor, at least he's there and almost left us. But anyway, I think for me, I was Professor now, Stanley Walker. What I would like to say is, first of all, despite my anger, I come from a community where anger is really, I would like to state clearly that I'm very happy. So, means anger and happiness. I'm very happy to invite them to this very important conversation meeting. Despite the hiccups, organizing such an event is not an easy day, but I'm going straight to the point. There should be no inter- or intergenerational struggles. One of our leading human rights activists, Dr. Martin Luther King, when he was struggling to ensure that the black person in the US is respected and cared for, said that humanity must work together to achieve a lot. When you walk alone, you achieve nothing. And therefore, I'm telling you that we should not talk of baby boomers, eggs, or Gen Z. We are all Kenyans, as someone said here, and we have one journey. I will remind you that unity without diversity leads to stagnation. In front of me are many students I've taught who even teach me about artificial intelligence, yet I'm a senior professor of 40 years standing and 50 years of teaching. But, I've been teaching since 1975. Oh, no, my looks can betray my age. But what I'm saying is that unity without diversity, like what we have here, will lead to, Madam Chair, to stagnation. The country will not prosper. We want a country that is politically stable, socially cohesive, and economically prosperous. And all the people who are here are a clear testimony of the kind of diversity that we have. There is a microcosm of the site of Kenya. We have students in political science, sociology, medicine, everywhere, journalism. They all have a role to play in national government, and all of us have a role to play. And those of you who do research, because the professor do a lot of research, worldwide there is clear literature review indicating that generational diversity has a positive correlation, those of you know statistics, positive link with research, development, all those. In other words, developed countries like Japan, UK and others are where they are in fourth industrial revolution because of harnessing energies, dynamism from all generations. Let the old people who are here, fellow baby boomers, fear Gen Zs. Gen Zs are dynamic. They are digital savvy. They have digital fluency, and they can help in promoting digital economy. And they can have digital platforms with the other people of their age. and as elders and pass the message of national cohesion. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I think, yes, definitely, we owe you an apology. Apologies for that and for the hiccup, not small, I won't minimalize it, for the hiccup. Apologies for that. I want to hear from you, Dr. Makoha. What's your take on this? I think I have your mic.
Thank you very much for having me here to begin with. And I can't agree more with what Professor and the DVC have said about a country taking time to look at its past so that it can be able to know where it is and probably plan better which pathways forward it should take. I must point out that when I received this invitation, it was curious for me that for the first time in recent times, according to my public knowledge, we are having a university that thinks that generational factors are important in conversations about the population in Kenya. We talk about the population in Kenya of roughly 52 million to date in terms of religion. We talk about our population very popularly in the media in terms of ethnicity. We do also many times invoke educational levels and faith-based identities. So we talk about Christianity, Islam, Luyas. We have just seen it happening here. As you come in, you are introduced as a Luya with a Luya song and so on and so forth. But a university has felt that it is necessary to have a conversation or a discourse in public about a generation. In other words, age is a factor of identification in this country and elsewhere. For those of us who I can see my colleague there. For those of us who are Gen X, it is interesting because we are the middle point generation in the country at the moment. There are Gen Zs and millennials. Some of them are our children. And we have baby boomers who are our parents. So the Gen X people born between 1965 and 1980 are at the moment in Kenya, the middle ground generation. So we find ourselves, Naomi, at the crossroads. Some of us have to deal with the Gen Zs and the Alphas who are our children, and we have to deal with the baby boomers who are our aging parents. Conversations of this kind, therefore, are not only cast in academic concerns, but we live this every day in our houses. I'll give you a quick personal anecdote. I was born in 1979, and I have 3 Gen Z children, one born in the year 2000, another one 2007, and another one 2010. In January, we had a family meeting, and we decided that my mother, who is 78 years of age, a baby boomer, and my father, who is 80 years of age, a baby boomer, should now relinquish the farm that we have in Kitale and come to Nairobi and live with us. And as they live with us, they would, quote unquote, be retiring from their farming life in Kenya. Now, our children are used to us taking them to visit Shosho and Guka upcountry. But for the first time in their lives, Shosho and Guka are not upcountry, they are in the living room. They are in our homes. They are living with us here in Nairobi because of medical issues and so on and so forth. And I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen of this good congregation, the challenges are there. We see them. I come from work every evening. I hear a concern being raised by my son, who is 18, about something that has happened. I hear my father, who is 80, raising a concern about something has happened. So we are 3 generations in the living room, in the evening having dinner, and you as the owner of the home, the owner of the space, you feel that indeed this generational dialogue should not just be one that is academic. It should be one of the national discourses we're having in this country. Each of this generation has grown up in its own time, as we have been told. It faces its own challenges, but this does not mean that these generations cannot coexist. What we just need to do, Naomi, and Kemu is leading from the front, is to create spaces of dialogue between these generations so that each of the generations can talk to each other instead of talking against each other. I feel very strongly about this, as I said, because I'm living that moment within my own home as I speak. I teach in a department where my students are Gen Z, and I'm also having colleagues who taught me in the 90s who are baby boomers. And sometimes in a meeting or in an executive situation, you have to mediate between the expectations, ideologies, and worldviews of these three groups of colleagues as a chairman, for example. So this timely conversation about making or mainstreaming age and generation as a factor in the national dialogue in Kenya about matters affecting our societies is one that should not just start here and end here. It should be a beginning of some new dimension in our public discourse, I believe. Far away from ethnicity, far away from tribes, far away from regions and counties, far away from faiths and superstitions. We should mainstream, the same way we mainstreamed the gender principle in the 80s and the 90s, we should mainstream age as a factor in our population discussions. Thank you.
Super, thank you, Dr. Makoha. I'll take one comment here, so we can move to the next question in the interest of time.
Thank you so much. My name is Fresia Nyota from Kenya Institute of Special Education, KISE. Mine is just one. I believe in common denominator when it comes to mathematics. The common denominator of all of us is we are all human beings. Irrespective of where we come from, irrespective of our generation, irrespective of what we are, we have a common denominator. If you realize our common denominator is all about human being, then transgeneration will be very easy. That I will require peace, I will require to be respected, just as a common denominator. Thank you.
That's a very nice comment you've made there. Yeah, one more, then we can move. Yeah.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Kariuki Nganga. I am an MBA student here in this university, and I'm also a business person, and I'm a Gen X. Being a Gen X means that I have also children like the doctor there who are almost now Gen Zs. And what I can say is that before I go there, I have been in class because I transitioned from undergraduate to master's, and I have been in class with Gen Zs. And I have been observing them, how they behave, how they act, and all that. And what I can say is that Gen Zs are people who listen. They listen and they have respect for the seniors. The only thing that we do is that sometimes we misunderstand them, and what we need to know is that these are children that we have brought up, or people who have grown up in an age of technology, and they are well informed, very well informed. If you ask these people anything right now, within 5 seconds, they can give you an answer. They can even tell you who you are and where you come from and what, that kind of thing. Now, my question that I would like to pose to the panelists, and also probably even everyone here, is how can we ensure that there is no generational gap, but it's a bridge whereby the seniors, the adults, those who are mature, when they bring wisdom, because they bring wisdom and resilience, and the Gen Zs, they'll bring innovation and energy. How can we make sure that this energy and innovation goes up to go and meet wisdom and resilience, so that we can make a better Kenya?
Thank you for that one. Dr. Ikiara, do you want to take that?
Okay, I'm going to respond to that. How we can be able to ensure that there is no generational gap. When I look at the situation as it is, as a teacher, also I do interact with Gen Zs. Also, I'm a mother of 3 Gen Zs in the house. What we need to do is to do a serious reflection. Sometimes I tend to think behind things. What are the real issues? It is not about our tribal background. It is not about our age differences. It is not about our food, our cultures, our dressing. But what are these things that put us apart? Things that affect us as a nation. Things that affect our youth in terms of development. Sometimes I feel that we try to run away from the truth. And imagine it is other things that are contributing to the generational gap. What I would advise all of us as a country, as parents, educators, people who are ending institutions, issues of accountability. Can we build functional systems that will help everyone to benefit in terms of resources, in terms of access, in terms of inclusivity, equity, and these things that we are discussing will be a thing of the past because all of us are Kenyans. All of us have a destiny. Whether you are born in 60, you have your destiny and you have your path. Whether you are born in 80s, 90s, 2010, you have your path. But for us to build a sustainable society is to ensure that we have functional systems so that we can do things that will live beyond us. And that is why I want to say that honest conversation of the real issues will help us to resolve the generational gap. Even if we talk about diversity and we are not doing the right things that affect generations, then we are doing nothing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Allow me to
yes,
add.
Yes, Dr. Some.
I am a baby boomer. I was brought up by 2 generations behind me. My grandfather lived for 117 years, and he married and outlived 17 wives. So one day we were having a chat between my grandfather, my father, and myself. And I asked my father, you must be an expert at women. What do the women need? He looked at me, and his son was there, my father, and he told me, nyama na nyama. Nyama na nyama, what does that mean? He said, there are 2 things women need, and if you cannot provide, another man will provide. Meaning, you have to fully satisfy your wife for all our needs, physical and sexual needs. Otherwise, someone else will do. That is breaching the gap. My own father, he used to ask me to drive him to the bar and to drink. And he wanted me to drive him back because he would be drunk. But when I was with him in the bar, he would tell me, don't stay in the car, come. And I would sit where he's drinking and having interaction with his colleagues. And then he would buy me a Coke or a Fanta, and I take it. And I join in their conversation. Within a short time, they were drunk, and their conversations were very weak. So I would join in, and I would defeat most of the drunk men. And then my father looked at me and said, you are kicking someone who has already fallen on the floor. He told me, if you argue with anybody and that person is weak, don't even try to show him that you are strong. You just touch him like this, you feel it is weak, leave him alone. You preserve your dignity and his dignity. And he told me, no man would like to know that he was defeated by another man. So it is your responsibility to maintain that person's dignity as a man and your own dignity as a man. I have obtained my PhD. No one has taught me the lessons that my grandfather and many others. If you allow me, I'll tell you one lesson that breached the bridge. I was in Form 5, and I was sent for school fees. My father had 2 wives. We were 16 children. He put 12 of us to the university. When I was sent away from school, I traveled 70 kilometers from Kapsabet to Kitale. When I saw my father at work, I broke down and I started crying. And I told him, Dad, I want to leave school so that I work with you and we make our brothers and sisters go to school. Then he told me, now I know you are a man. Then he said, tonight, you will sleep with me and my friend in the same room. His friend had 5 wives. So he chased away one wife so that we were 3 men in one room. And then he said, now let's talk as men. I said, okay, I'm here. He said, no elephant is defeated to carry its tusks. But as a man, at night, we cry and our pillows are wet with tears. But the next morning, we wash our face and we go about our business as strong men. He told me, you are not going to educate the children I gave birth to. They are not your children. You wait until you have your own children and you take care of those children. There are many generational gaps which are outside the curriculum and we need those lessons, and you will never get unless you have a relationship with your father, your mother, your uncle, your great-grandfather and others. So the question you've asked, my brother, is a real practical one. It is not a generational gap. It is to create the conditions for a generational bridge, like the way we do in rural shows, Kaito and all this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Some. And I would like us to jump into a world where we find ourselves very familiar. All of us here are in social media, right? Is there anyone who is not in any social media? I don't know, Prof, if you are in one. Maybe you are, maybe you are not, but we will get to know. Let me ask Rune Otieno. Social media is a space where diversity can be celebrated. But social media too is a space where we can see a lot of manipulation and divisions. What responsibility do young people, if you may, and older Kenyans have in shaping the digital conversations? Well, the reason why I was asking Prof if he's in social media is how will he know what is going on unless he is there? But Rune, I'm sure, double sure you are there. So what can we do?
Thank you for the question. I want to talk to both perspectives, the Gen Z and also the Gen X, Gen Y. But let me put more impact towards the Gen Z side. We, the Gen Z, we can use the media platform in a positive way to bring more impact to our generation and also to the future generation. One thing, before we do anything in a mass media, we have to look into it. Is it something that will create more divinity, like it will divide more people, or it will bring people together? 2, before putting something into the mass media, we have to accept that, the fact that not one person will do what? Will be the one to view it, but it will be global. And what repercussion will it bring on board? That is one thing. And again, another thing that we have to look into before portraying or before delivering any information to mass media, we have to check, how do I take this? How do I understand it? And how will the next person besides me, who is not with me, understand this fact? If we try to weigh these things, I believe the Gen Z will do what? The Gen Z shall have used the mass media platform in that greater way. One, at least, I was checking on something, at least by uniting or by celebrating diversities. And through the celebration of diversities, you know, people from different cultures, tribes, laws, Luyas, Kikuyus, when we celebrate our diversities, our cultures on mass media, it will bring us together. One fact that maybe the Luos never knew about the Kikuyus, now they know it, and it has really enhanced, like it is something that has brought happiness. At the same time, it brings a bridge, a bond that of not being negative towards others' culture, but it is a bond that at least brings that bridge of unity, a unity of one standing to fight for another, even at their absentia. That is celebrating the diversity. Again, when we, the Gen Z, do away with spreading the misinformation, something we are not sure of, that fact will bring unity to the fact that we do that we are sure of. And that we are sure of, it is an information that never divides, but it brings people together. Not just bringing people together, but again, bringing more impact in life to the near generations to come. Thank you.
Very well. Prof, are you on social media? And if you are, how do you respond?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the question. I can see you are provoking me. I will say yes and no.
Okay.
Because one of my grandchildren, this is Alpha whatever, one day shocked me when I just left my smartphone somewhere on my desk in the study room, and when I came back, I realized I had already downloaded an application which I personally could not understand. So as far as the digital divide is concerned, I think we should not shy away from saying there is a generational gap. But I would like to say the issue of generation gap and so on is a label. What is important is the experience we share, and the experience is what bridges the gap. I'll also go on and say, I think my colleague here, the literature guy, saying about the children and how they were being taken up country and to the so and so on. I think even us who are using social media a lot, we need to be very careful, because social media is open to everyone and it can be misused. We know there is social media activism, which is a good thing. The Gen Zs are doing that, even to mobilize meetings, which is very good, and even make the government wake up when it is in a slumber. But we should also be very careful as Gen Zs and maybe the other younger generations, not to be either scrolling at our mobiles and so on. I will share my experience again, if you allow, share for the time being. Because you're the one who has provoked me. One day, and this is an advice from a professor to the Gen Zs and other generations, one day I just opened my Facebook only to find that someone had tampered with it, changed the password, and I knew there's nobody else there who would have changed the password other than my own daughters and the sons who knew the password, because sometimes I get stuck somewhere and I tell them, can you check this for me? And they know the password, ERN or something. So they had accessed my Facebook, and we had introduced Facebook. I'm an old dog learning new tricks. You must forgive me. I hope I'm learning very slowly though, not fast. So what happened is I called my daughters and sons and asked them what happened. This Facebook, I opened it because we use it for teaching online during the time of Corona. Not because I wanted to tell my wife I love you or anything, because I can tell in the permanent bedroom. But my daughters and the sons had already checked, and luckily there was nothing untoward in the Facebook. I just come from Mombasa with my wife, and we didn't take anything funny, if you can see what I mean. So I was wondering what they were after, and I told them, I'm going to give you professorial lecture. I am your father, but today I'll give you professorial lecture. Please don't be checking my Facebook, because I don't check yours. Supposing I check yours, and I find you are with your boyfriend in Mombasa, and in a compromising position, very compromised. What would I feel as your father? You would embarrass me, although I may not tell you I'll be embarrassed. So please stop, checking my Facebook. So you can see Facebook can be hacked, even by your own children. and that can be a problem. So please, Gen Zs, let us be very careful, because when I ask my children, why are you trying to do some proving here? Do you think I have a second wife? And you have never seen her for all the 50 years we have been married. So they were laughing, and I said, when you are going somewhere, you say you are going to see a friend. You don't tell me who this friend is, and some of you can even get into problems. So please, Gen Zs and Gen X and so on, if you are going somewhere, we don't want to know whom you are going with, but tell us, I am going to meet Professor Evarista Serando in University of Nairobi at this time. And there will be no problem, but don't say I'm going to meet a friend who is anonymous, because anything can happen. There are a lot of risks, not like in the past.
Excellent. Excellent, Prof. And a good anecdote there that teaches us respect, even in the space of digital communication. And Dr. Justus, you have something to add on that?
Yes, thank you, moderator. Just a quick one. I think the same way we say that we need to activate and sustain generational discussions in this country, the same way we did with gender as an index of identity at some point, I feel very strongly that we need to conceptualize media as a space. We need to conceptualize media as a space, and once we do that in our minds and in our lives, then we are able to say what sort of dialogues can populate such a space. And when we look at it in the context of our theme today, I'll give you a quick anecdote, for example. The moderator, Naomi Mbuvi, introduced me as a Secretary General, National Secretary General of an association of writers of Kenya. This is the Society of Literature and Performing Arts of Kenya. We have around 400 members. Out of these 400 members, about 80 of them are professors of creative arts and literature. Out of these, we have around 100 publishers. We have around 100 journalists. We have people who cut across the book industry in different domains. Now, what is interesting for me as a Secretary General, hosting them on a social media of WhatsApp, a WhatsApp wall where all of them are inside there, is that the first thing that that space does as a digital space is to depersonalize the identity. You can't tell that Professor Some commenting is a baby boomer, Professor or Nguyo commenting is 22, because the voice that is typing the word and the contribution onto the wall is without the body. So the body becomes a non-factor, and the ideas that are coming on the wall become the factors to take note. So I look at this as a space of generational collaboration, generational exchange, not necessarily at the level of writing and so on and so forth, but at the level that a space like this one enables everybody to speak without necessarily being burdened by other indexes of identity. The body size, the look of the body, whether white or black, whether tall or short, and so on and so forth. So when we look at media and incorporate not just digital media but also electronic media, the larger question would be, how can we as Kenyans harness media as a space for intergenerational conversation? And I believe very strongly then that we should not just focus on digital media, but we should look at all forms of media that are available for us. I would say very quickly that one space in which the Gen Zs have proved themselves as being very competent is in digital literacy. Then we should harness that as a nation in economics, in politics, in culture, in other domains of life, to ensure that that particular competence that they have, digital literacy in their plurality, serves the nation. They could help us, Dr. Some, for example, in digitization of our history. They could help us in creating platforms where elderly politicians, elderly faith-based leaders, elderly national leaders can be made available to talk about their biographical experiences, and these can be videographed. The vlogs that they are doing on YouTube need not necessarily take us into their bedrooms and sitting rooms and their fridge and what goes into their fridge. These same vlogs can be used for a national purpose. This can only be done when we reconceptualize our understanding of media not just as a tool of social performance of my identity every day, or a space where I document my lived experiences as a young person, but you make it a space for the nation. And if we make it a space of the nation, then we'll do the digitization of culture, digitization of art, digitization of economics, and all those domains that serve the national lives of Kenya. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Makoha. In line with what you're saying, I want to ask Florence and Safia. Do you feel social media can be used in better ways by the Gen Z generation, especially when it comes to how they express themselves and the kind of content that we put there? Do you think we can do, do you think Gen Z can, I'm not Gen Z, do you think Gen Z, that generation, can do better in terms of content and how they express themselves or give information? I'll start with Safia, then Florence.
Yes, I think they can do better, and I also do think they are doing better, because we've used social media for really good purposes. Starting from the issue on the finance bill, we used it to push those hashtags, and we used it to call for peaceful protests, which were later infiltrated by violence. But previously, it was used to push for such protests. And one thing that is making it visible that there's a gap between us, Gen Zs, and other generations concerning social media is the stereotype that the other generations have, that we are using it for nonsense. Most of the times when you're found using TikTok or Twitter, your parent might tell you, this is nonsense, you're wasting your time. But you don't know we are using it for good. I'm a medical student. Half of the content I have, I'm getting it from social media. And the people posting it are my fellow Gen Zs who are also doing the same course as me. So we're using it to do better, but we can also use it to do better. I know there are areas where we're using it for bad. First of all, a lot of politicians are using us as bloggers. We know what bloggers are. And majority of the student leaders who are sitting here today have also used bloggers to clinch their seats. So when we refuse to be used as tools for politicians using social media, now we will be using social media for the better. That is the only gap that I think it is there. But ideally, we're using social media for the better. So that is a stereotype that should be broken. Yes.
The Gen Zs, we the young people, are digital natives. We are quite digital savvy as compared to the baby boomers and the Gen X. There's a time a prominent leader in the country made a statement that painted the Kikuyu people as I don't know what, and there was a hashtag that was being pushed on X saying we are all Kikuyus. Then after that, another hashtag came pushing we are all Kenyans. Those were hashtags that are created by the young people. So we do agree that sometimes we might not go the right way, and this is where now the older generation comes in to mentor us to be critical thinkers, to call out misinformation, to call us out when we are not doing the right thing. But we are still using this. You can see the unity that comes in. One thing that I'd make reference to is during the Harambee Stars game, you could see the unity of the Kenyans, and it was through social media. We didn't know each other. Sometimes people could meet you and just call you, hey cousin, how are you doing? This, and it is such things that Gen Zs use social media for the better, not we might sit here, make friends, and sometimes you'd have friends. I'm speaking as a young person, you don't even know their tribe, you don't even know where they come from, but there are some other things that put you together, and one thing is also social media.
Okay, Ronnie, I don't want to leave you out. I know you're Gen Z. Let me talk to all the Gen Zs on the panel.
Thank you again for this chance. What I just wanted to add towards this, and I've just recalled about something. There is this platform we call the status, the WhatsApp status. It really preaches a lot. For me, for the fact, you'll find that Ronnie can't take a day, he's online, and he can't take a day without or minus posting a religious song, a song that will motivate someone, a song that will encourage someone, that will touch someone. And that again has really given me another title that, hey Ronnie, you are very religious. That's now back there into my institution. So to the fact that we use this platform, it will also earn us some points. And now my wish is that if this mass media platform can be controlled in a way that the negative impacts are not driven on board, but now the positive impacts are the one portrayed so that the very many people can come into a view. Thank you.
All right, super. I want to hear from a couple of us because I think personally, this is now a totally personal opinion, complete personal opinion. I struggle with the how Gen Zs express themselves. Not the what they're trying to say, it's the how that I struggle with because it's not palatable. You guys, there you say it, there's no room for consuming the how you're saying something. And I think so some of the things like on social media you'll see a parent, yes I'll come to you, you'll hear a parent saying munafanya nonsense hapa kwa mtandao. TikTok, even internet ndazima hata sitalipa hii mwezi, you know, because the nonsense is probably the parents don't understand dancing is just a way of just bonding. You know, music brings people together. Dancing styles and routines maybe do it for you. But until one person has done a shady move and the things you guys will tell this person is not, they're not able to survive that. So I think it's, no one is not hearing you. It's how you're expressing yourselves that could be the problem. That's a personal opinion, by the way. How you express yourselves might be an issue. Let me take your question and there's somebody here. I don't know if it's a question or a comment, but take the floor.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I know people are tired. Before I ask my question, I would like to recognize the presence of the KUSO president, Mr. Anthony Manyara, in the house. God bless you for making time. I'm Kisero Junior Kennedy Otieno is my name. I'm a student here at KEMU, but in Meru campus, the main campus. I've heard what you've said, and I would like to give my view. When I compare the immediate generation before us, Gen Z, grew under a lot of restrictions, under a lot of bureaucracy, without, let's say, the tech, without the tech space. And that modified them to be in a particular way. I have elder siblings than me who are not Gen Z. And when I used to ask my father about something, anambia, hey, ile kupigwa utapigwa, like there's a way they have been brought up that people should not say some things or question some things out. But now our generation is different. You'll find the Gen Z, we want to know why this particular thing is happening. We have grown in times where we treat the world as a one global space. You can access any information, you can access any country. But now I feel the reason why the other generations are not understanding us is we have lived at a time where we want to question every single thing, why they happen the way they're happening. And that does not probably sit well with the previous generation that had a lot of restriction. They were modified to, you have to speak this way, you have to do things this way. But my point is, how can we find also a way in which we can bridge these two generations? Whatever, I believe each generation has their strength and their weaknesses. I believe there is strengths that we can marry and make this transgeneration dialogue a success. Thank you so much.
Thanks for that. I'll take one comment there, then I'll come back to the panel. We talk about mentorship. And from where you sit, if you're Gen Z, it's what kind of mentorship are we looking at? Then Prof and the docs will tell us now what kind of mentorship should the young guys go for. Yet we want to ask why. Those whys we used to ask ourselves. Uko na swali unajiuliza wewe mwenyewe, unajibu sababu ukiongea ile kipigo utapata. Iko kidogo. I want to hear a comment.
So, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Kennedy Mwangi Dhaiga. I'm an IT specialist. And I'm happy because I have a chance to ask the policy makers, I work in an educational institution, and I'll come to that. Now, there's something that has been mentioned about misunderstanding from the host. I'll just pick something. For example, during your campus years, kulikuwa na zile ngoma mlikuwa mnaimba za sheng, si ndio? Then S class, yeah, and wakardinalis are the ones wa sasa hivi. So what there is right now is, will you make an effort? Will you meet them halfway? Yeah, so that if you meet them halfway, you are now able like to know what they are talking about. The other thing is about the political class. Social media is a good thing. We can all agree to that. Social media is here to stay, and it's not going anywhere in the nearest future. So, according to the national ICT policy frameworks, there are regulations that have been set. But now, there comes the loophole whereby if I speak ill against the government, if I speak ill against, for example, Daktari, and he knows a certain PS, they can do something, they use that kunikujia. So my question is, in this space that you are talking about, in the digital media that, in the digital space that you are talking about, that we all exchange ideas, how can we need to safeguard the facts from misinformation and disinformation, because those are very different things. So my question is, how do we ensure that we as the academia, not only do we publish, because if you go to our repositories, as Daktari has rightly said, we have so many things that we have published, digital repositories and whatnot. How can we, maybe at our institutional level, for example, at KEMO, at KU, at MKU, or at any other institution, start at the basic there. This is our little thing that we are doing to spread awareness on the positivity of social media. And social media good use does not necessarily mean that it sits right with you. Something may be not sitting right with you, but it is a fact. For example, kutakuwa usiku. Maybe kuna watu wapendi usiku, but usiku itafika. That does not change the fact that usiku umefika. So, you the doctors who are there, because I know you have encountered this challenge, I have encountered it. You give some assignments, inaenda inaekelewa pale chat GPT, si ndio? Then tunai-humanize, right? Then I present it, or a student presents it as his or her own paper. It is true, right? Yes. So, based on that simple example that I've given, and taking the social aspect of social media, can we be able now to harness those two aspects such that we blend them for good? Thank you.
All right, thank you. The first question, were you addressing me, asking me about bridging the gap ya wakardinali na sijui nani?
You said you are not conversant with how the Gen Zs
express.
No, express, or how they are putting out their ideas.
Okay.
You know, for them.
How they communicate.
Not communicate, how they express themselves. Okay. Yeah, because this is a factual generation. I may say something here, and if it negates the fact, somebody will rightly call me out.
Very well.
And I think the challenge we are having with the Gen X, Gen Y versus millennials and Gen Zs is, for example, allegedly, there is a bill that was posted by the Senate of Kenya. That was yesterday. But upon further digging, people realized that whatever they had posted is not the actual thing. So when they are called out, they come and say that, our watoto, our heshimu wazee. Yeah, because as Daktari said, accountability. Because when you are fact-checked, you are being put to account.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. The first question I'll answer you. The second question, you said you're pulling out to the doctor, so obviously you are not addressing me sababu mimi sio daktari yet. Lakini next year jaribu same time uone. Title itakuwa imechange. In terms of how the Gen Zs communicate, I'm not talking about in terms of music. When you listen to the music that we listened to then and now, you'll find we're talking about the same thing. Mapenzi, pesa, brokenness, I don't know what. But it's the music now when it comes to mapenzi, the way it is said is almost, I find it almost, when I go to TikTok, I find it almost vulgar. So I don't know then how to, I don't know how to appreciate it, and I'm raising kids of my own, so I'm not sure how to raise it, to absorb it or take it. Then we're talking about the same things, but it was said differently. That's what in terms of music, I would say. But when it comes to their how expressing themselves, when they're not agreeing with you, the how of how they express themselves is my issue totally. There's no, we're not cordial. Kitambo tungenyamaza alafu tuji-express pole pole kama kumetulia. Now there's no kutulia. Kama iko wanatoa. Now, the second question you asked, I want it to be answered even as you talk about mentorship and your final remarks, because napigiwa kengele. So I'd want to ask Dr. Mujubu Oswali, then also mentorship, how you want to receive it or how you want to give it. Then now give me a final remark. Yeah? Yeah. I'll start with you, Prof.
Yeah, thank you, moderator. As far as mentorship is concerned, we, the older generations, have a big responsibility to ensure that the Gen Zs and Generation X and so on are well mentored. The first concern I have is the mismatch we have between the skills the Gen Zs and other people have and the labor market. You'll find that many, even me, I've trained quite a number of my own children with the master's PhD, and they don't have a good job, The Gen Zs who are here, we did not take them to university, or TVET, so that they become, street talkers, sell, the newspapers and so on, because these are high-level skills. These are highly educated people. We need to ensure that as professors, lecturers, and other people training these young people, we provide linkages with the industry. Contact industry, various, like me, I also teach about industrial geography, where we are doing green manufacturing. I had someone told she deals with waste management, I think one of the panelists. I have done a lot of research myself on sustainable waste management in the country and Nairobi here. And what we can do is get in touch. And you earned in the introduction, I'm also a lead member for Environmental Institute of Kenya. We can always get, reach out these people. We, train them on how to deal with waste management, how to write proposals, and look for funding. Because what they need is also funding, apart from skills. Skills they have, but the industry will say, oh, you are not training them on this and that. So that one we do with internship. I look for internship for my students so that they can get some experience. The other one, as I'm saying, is helping them in writing proposals. You have the youth fund. I don't know how many of you have applied. I always do that. I get, as you know, I'm a professor of transport and tourism. And tourism is a very key industry. So students come to me and I show them how to write proposals for the conservancies, for ecotourism in their respective homes, and they go and they come and tell me, Mwalimu, we got it, we are now helping the local people with the tourism and so on. So we do quite a bit of that. Even waste management, again, we have companies dealing with that, even dealing with recycling, what we call circular economy. And again, we help them in writing those proposals, and they get something to do. So that's the kind of thing we are doing. You want me to make a last remark, Marita? Yeah, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me once again, and also your attention. What I would like to say is that no generation must be left behind in accordance with Agenda 2030, which is only 5 years away. Whether you are differently able, whether you are a scholar, whether you are an engineer or you are a media, especially like my friend here, all of us are on a journey. And this journey is long, it's 10 years. But what I would like to say is that it is said, if you want to cover, a distance quickly, you can go alone. Yeah? But if you want to cover a longer one, walk with others. Let all the generations walk together to cover a longer distance. There's no need of walking fast, because we may not get what we want. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Safia?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. The older generation can mentor us through different ways. First of all, they can give us stories maybe of past things that shows resilience, honesty, leadership, instead of just viewing us as reckless beings that need to be guided without like, you're not giving us the clear path, but you're also telling us we're doing wrong. So give us a clear path, tell us this, we listen, but we also internalize. We have a mind of our own, we have very independent minds, but we also listen, and when given a clear path and direction, we actually do follow it. So through giving us maybe stories of maybe Wangari Maathai when we were not there, Jomo Kenyatta, maybe we might listen and follow the clear and right path. Another thing, you can mentor us in maybe in politics and leadership. You know, we actually do look at you guys, and we actually do follow some of the aspects that you show us. If you guys decide to show us tribal aspect of politics, we might actually follow it. And it is also becoming evident in the university setup. As much as we are saying as Gen Zs we are not doing them to wetu mentality, some are still doing it, and it's very evident even in university politics. So try and show us issue-based politics instead of tribe-based politics. That way we can actually follow the correct path, and a clear one, not just a path you're telling us because you think you're right, because you're older than us. Yes. And then what I can also say is you can actually help us in killing the stereotype that the youth are reckless and maybe the elderly are outdated. We can actually come together and kill that stereotype so that we work as one and set a clear path for ourselves. Yes. And for my closing remarks, I like to say that our Kenyan constitution actually appreciates our diversity. It shows us we are different in ethnicity, we are different culturally, we are different in religion. And when we come to embrace it, that is when we actually get that unity. The Constitution was not just there as a book. It was a call. It was supposed to be a call to action for everyone. When it was promulgated and implemented, the youth wanted representation. The youth wanted empowerment. Women wanted equality and space. And the elderly, they wanted the stability. So that was why the Kenyan Constitution was put in place. But at the moment, we're actually not following that. I think we're just doing our own things. What the government is saying is what we're doing. So when we actually implement the Constitution as it was supposed to be, that is when we will get this transgenerational unity. That is when we will get peace. And when we talk about peace,
I'll cut you short to conclude.
Sorry, let me conclude. Let me conclude. I'll say lastly, when we talk about peace, we're not just saying that there's absence of conflict. There has to be conflict. Anywhere you go, there has to be conflict. But when we get that understanding to each other, that is when we will get peace. So yes, let me stop speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Safia. I'll go to Doc.
Thank you once more, Naomi, and your fellow moderator for this opportunity, and the principal for this space. We do not take it lightly that you are igniting a very important conversation in the country. I just want to say two things very quickly. Number one, we should also guard ourselves from romanticizing or being over-fascinated with one generation within our society. We agree, even in the leaflets that we have been given, that there are a number of generations in Kenya today. The Gen Zs are just but one of them. Who is talking about the Gen Alphas who are going to be the pioneers of the CBE, Kenya's current curriculum direction? That the CBE is here to stay is not in doubt. The government is saying through the Ministry of Education that here is a train without a reverse gear. We are moving forward. And as we are moving forward at various levels, including at the university where we are preparing to receive them, the pioneers of CBE in 2029, Nobody is talking about the Gen Alphas, for example. Will they see Kenya in the same way that we are seeing it as Gen Zs, Gen X, Gen Y, etc., or will they have other priorities? I want to quickly say that a Kenyan is a product of two things. A Kenyan is a product of education, and a Kenyan is a product of law. And the good IT student at the back who has raised the question has said, look, if we are digital and we are techno-savvy, and we do not have policies in place that can help us to optimize our skills in this digital economy of today, then what are we saying? He's simply asking us to think very deeply about the demographic that makes policy in this country. Who makes policy in this country? People of which generation are sitting in policy-making boardrooms in this country? And he's saying something very important for me, that policy makers must make policies that are in line with the realities on the ground. Now, this is important. It is not just a conversation that we should have with the national government. We are some years, as Safia has pointed out, we are some years into devolution. Are we raising policy issues or policy questions to the governors? Are we raising policy questions to the to the county assemblies? Because they also have a role to play. If each of the 47 counties and governments, Naomi, could have policies that are friendly to the digital economy, then the Gen Zs who are within those polities, within those counties, within those spaces could be beneficiaries of the same. We hear in America of people moving from one part of America to California because it is in California where we have the Silicon Valley, and that is where the policies are okay for techno people. So can we have governors also, can we have counties, can we have county assemblies that pass laws that make Gen Zs who are into the Konza Sinti kind of work to migrate to Kakamega, for example, because Kakamega is now friendly to this kind of thing. So policy is extremely important, and education as well. I want to summarize by saying,
wrap up.
Yes, I want to summarize by saying that the good book tells us in Luke chapter 6, verse 40, a student is not equal to the teacher. But any student who is properly trained will be equivalent or the same to the teacher, if not better than the teacher. Now, this comes from the scriptures itself. If we're to take that into our national life and into our conversation of today, we would say that education still plays a very important role in helping this intergenerational mission that we have to be sustainable, to be actionable, and to be durable. So let us allow institutions like KEMU, institutions like the polytechnics we have in the country, the TVETs, let us allow the spaces of education to be domains where mentorship, transfer of skills, and sustainability in terms of policy and personnel preparation is concerned. If we put the institutions away, or we think about these conversations outside domains that are in existence, law and education, then we are talking to ourselves or we're talking to the wind.
Thanks, Dr. Makoha. Florence, in a minute.
Mentorship to us young people is not being reprimanded. It is not making it seem like a competition, telling us during our time you could not have done this because this could have happened to you. For example, as a young student leader and a young politician, it is very hard to get someone who has been there to mentor you because they take you as a competition. They feel like when you get there, you will outdo them. So it is actually very hard. We need the older generation to be very willing to mentor us into these spaces, create platforms like these ones where we can be able to speak and articulate our problems. Because if we don't have such platforms, it is when you see us go to the streets, because we feel like that as young people, that is the language you will understand best. These platforms are not even open to maybe a common comrade or a common student because they don't have access. So we feel like being rioting and all that, it is the best language that you can understand. But if the older generation creates such platforms, and they should also be willing to mentor us, to show us the way, because they've been there before. And in summary, we see each generation like a thread, which if woven together, we form a very beautiful and big tapestry that is our nation, without competition, without reprimanding. Just mentor us to get into these spaces. the older generation knows when, where, how, and the best ways possible we can be able to channel the fire that we have. We are very fearless. We can speak out about anything and everything, but we need to be shown how. We need to be told this is the right time, this is not the right time. We need to be told this is the best platform to do such things. So if we are mentored, we will be able to coexist peacefully, and each generation with their wisdom, with their innovation, will be able to build a beautiful country. Thank you.
Thank you, Florence. Ronnie, in a minute.
Thank you. In a nutshell, I was thinking of something, TVET revolution, but now I've changed it to campus revolution so that it can cut across both the universities, the TVETs, all the institutions, so that at least through the revolutions, we can preach the gospel of campus devolution, so that at the end, we, the Gen Zs, we are highly mentored for the future, and also our destiny is also aligned to our professionality. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Your 1 minute, Kulini, 1 minute. Dr. Lucy?
Okay, thank you. I'm just reflecting and wondering, how can we give something to the next generation if we do not have it? It is not possible to pass something that we do not have. And what am I talking about? Unless we build a value-based country that we can be able to pass from one generation to another, even without speaking, then we shall not get there. So when I look at the Constitution, we have the values, the national values. We have the principles of good governance, and challenging the older generation, my generation and generation that is behind me. Do we live those national values? Do we practice those principles of good governance so that we can be able to pass the baton to the next generation? Safia said, they learn by what we do. They learn by what they see. So what is this that we are giving them? We need to really be intentional so that if we are talking about, for example, integrity, we are talking about accountability, we are talking about honesty, we are living those values so that we can be able to pass from the family level to the nation level. Because I think there is something that is missing when it comes to practicing the national values and principles of good governance. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Some, as we conclude.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this conversation. In closing, I have 2 points. When it comes to mentorship, the best mentorship is life-on-life mentorship, where you actually see what the person did. The best life-on-life mentorship is our Lord Jesus Christ and his 12 disciples. And thereafter, they were able to achieve the impossible. Our Gen Zs, if they are taken through a life-on-life mentorship and they see what integrity is, what wisdom is, what impact is, they will achieve a lot. My second closing comment is something that all of us need to be aware. And the last one is probably most of you don't know. Every statement of intent must have an instrument to translate it to action. And we call these policy instruments. The highest policy instrument is our national constitution. Without that, if you embed anything in the national constitution, you are sure it will be acted on. The second instrument are the laws, the enacted laws of this country. If you get a law, then it will live its time. Number 3, each law spells out the implementer of that law. And they usually do that through regulations. Regulations can be changed from time to time. Below the regulations, you have very simple, straightforward guidelines and protocols. But most importantly, if there is no budget, and you can't get a budget without an operational plan, these are all instruments, policy instruments. Now, as you go down, you will now come to one policy instrument that politicians use and you are not aware of it, and that is propaganda. Propaganda is a very good policy instrument. You can use it today and deny it tomorrow. If you are not aware of this, you will think that the president is cheating you. No. He's simply using propaganda as a policy instrument to achieve a statement of intent. We guys who used to seduce girls in the village, we know how we used it. You can pretend to be very rich today and you have just borrowed the money. Tomorrow you don't have, but you have achieved your objectives. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I totally appreciate Dr. Julius Makoha. Thank you for your time. Florence Achala, thank you for your time. Dr. Lucy Kiara, grateful for you being here. Ronnie Otieno, thank you for your time as well. Safia Kuyo, thank you. I like how bold you are. Prof, asante sana for bearing with us, and thank you for being here. We appreciate your presence here. Dr. Some, thank you for being here. Gen Zs on the panel, we are relying on you to create paths, straight paths for our Gen Alphas. Nyinyi ndio mutatusaidia hapo kidogo. So we are depending on you to create paths that are good, that are nice, that are straight for our Gen Alphas. Co-host, chani kuachia yangu ni kusema asante. I have been happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed, Naomi. And generational transfer of lessons, values, good governance, integrity, accountability, respect. No generation should be left out in this conversation. We are not in a competition of generations. Mentorship and transfer of skills is critical and should remain etched in our existence, and we should adopt responsible use of social media. Thank you very much. MC.
Thank you very much, team. Applause for this great team, tafadhali. Asante sana. I want you to take a photo first. The moderators kindly take a good photo. Jipangeni hapo, cameraman. Mchukue picha moja mzuri kwa makumbusho. Principal, please join them now that the VC is not here, so that you represent the university and the DVC. DVC, you are represented, but you can still be there. Thank you. You can be up there. Asanteni sana. So thank you members for listening. This was a really important session that we have had. Na tumeshukuru sana. As Kenya Methodist University, we say the future is here, and indeed the future is here. So cameraman, usichukue hiyo picha kama sijafika ama nikuvute kazi. Asanteni. Thank you very much, panelists. Asanteni. Be blessed. Thank you, Prof, for understanding, and we really apologize. Thank you for understanding. It was an oversight. Hatukukuona, tukakutafuta, tulikutafuta, tukakukosa. You can have a seat somewhere there, then we can be able to converse. So, panelists, you can have your seat, then we can, so that we can close. Kiogora, give me this stand there. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to come to an end of this. I will just allow Wanamanyara to just say one word, sema wewe ni nani, because we waited for you in the morning. You are not there. I saw your name somewhere. Manyara, karibu uongelele hapo tu, unaweza panda juu. Wewe ni mwanasiasa, lazima upande juu kidogo tu, dakika moja, then from there we shall close. As I give Manyara this opportunity, you know, I did not introduce myself when we were starting, and you thought you ni wakupiga kelele. I am Dr. Stephen Maure. I am the chairman of the Regional Center for Groundwater Resources, and I'm also the chairman of Maendeleo Wanaume, which is an organization which propagates for men rights and boy-child empowerment. In our Mawe institution, we have vowed that no young man will ever kill himself again because Uncle Alfred has left him. In our Mawe, we have vowed that no old man is going to die because he is taking some Viagra because he wants to entertain a young woman. In our Mawe, we have resolved that there is no man who will be sleeping outside his own home because somebody else has occupied his home and the man has been left out. And lastly, in Mawe, we have resolved that the old must take responsibility of mentoring the young, and the men must take the responsibility of mentoring the family. That is why we are pushing all the members of Maendeleo Wanaume to ensure they're in school for their children, to ensure they are home and mentoring their young boys so that we have a better generation in the future. When you say mawe, you say many power. Mawe. Asante sana. Hiyo ni I launched it on 30th of August in Meru and it was a big thing. Asanteni sana. Be blessed. Regional Center for Groundwater is a parastatal under the Ministry of Water. Lakini permanently I'm here. I'm a senior lecturer at the School of Business and Economics. Thanks. Oh, Kemu Business School. We rebranded. Asante sana. Manyara karibu. Dakika moja tu. Na sitashuka, ndio? Thank you.
Vijana power. Vijana power. How are you guys? Kwanza kabisa najua ya kwamba watu wengi hapa wamechoka, so I will not take much time. To the principal, I so much appreciate for this chance. I also would like to apologize because I've come very late. I was scheduled to be on the panel, I think around 2 p.m. But I was in Uganda and my flight delayed. That's why nimefika late kidogo. We had some East African interministerial conference there. Tulikuwa hata mpaka na CS or education na PS and so forth. Anyway, my name is Anthony Manyara, the president of East African Students Union, also the president of all the universities here in Kenya, not just all public institutions, private. It's called KUSO, Kenya University Students Organization. I'm an architect by profession. I'm also pursuing law. Unajua ukiwa president wa students lazima uendelee kuwa mwanafunzi, sio? Ama namna gani? So I'm still a continuing student pursuing law here at the University of Nairobi. Masomo haiishi, si ndio? Ama namna gani?
Ni kweli.
So let me just delve to the discussion of today. It is all about how we can have conversations between young people and the old. I think my 2 cents is simple. In Kenya, we have seen the kind of demonstrations that were there last year, and I know very well we are progressing towards intergenerational conclave or other conversations, which I know very well they are scheduled to happen towards the end of this year. I want to acknowledge this institution, KEMU, for the management they have ensured, especially our principal here. Omefanya this has become the focal point of conversations when it comes to bridging the gap, bridging the divides, to see how we can form a conversation that is steered to provide real solutions for the kind of problems we have in Kenya. Wacha nimalizie because naona kiongozi hapa amesimama nikisema I probably will have a more serious chance to discuss this. But let me just delve to the 2019 census by the Kenya National Bureau of Standards. Walisema how many Kenyans do we have in the country? I think 49.5 million. How many youths are in Kenya? Around 75%. That's people below the age of 35. Now, if you look at the United Nations report, it says that in Africa, it has the youngest population. That is, the median is 19 years. That is compared to like Europe, whereby the median is around 43 years. By the time we reach 2050, we will have Africa having, I think, 3/4 of its population as young people. Kumaanisha, watu wanazaa very many young people in Africa. I mean, there's a lot of, it's becoming a population badge. There will be a lot of desperation. What we need to look at, what do young people want? They have a lot of speed, and the older guard also they have resistance. Mimi ningetaka tuone what kind of solutions we can have to ensure we address those kind of concerns without also disrespecting the old, because there is some kind of way we can have coexistence. I had prepared so much, but because of time, let me thank you all as our audience, also appreciating the speakers who have met here, who have spoken with a lot of wisdom. But pia tusisahau, Kenya belongs to all of us. The moment we push aggressively towards violence, I think we'll be missing it. There are so many ways in which we can approach things for peaceful coexistence of all generations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anthony. Applause for Anthony. Thank you. Say hi to me, Anthony. Unajua sasa wewe tulikuwa kwa siasa ya PNU ilikuwa 2013 na bado tulikuwa mwanafunzi, kumbe bado huko 2017. Tulikuwa kwa siasa ya PNU. Asante sana, nimeshukuru sana to see you are growing strong as the leader of the student. So I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone. Now you allow me to just 1 minute to give a vote of thanks. First of all, I would want the planners of this organization please to stand up where you are. Simameni principal, taters, wale wako hapa wote, simameni. Wengine wametoka kidogo, but all these are the planners. Thank you very much. We really appreciate. It was a great thing that you have really done, and we appreciate many more to come. I want to appreciate the Kenya Methodist University management. I can see many members are here. You saw them in the morning. Thank you very much, Kenya Methodist University, for taking this as a serious business, and this is our business. And Professor Some, we are coming to Meru very soon. Dr. Mwiti, when I write a letter, we want to go to Mombasa. Ufanya haraka haraka. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate NCIC. Najua mko area. Thank you for sponsoring this thing. This is a great thing. This is a great initiative that we have seen. Niliona kitabu kidogo hapa, but somebody carried it away. They have published a book about the cohesion and integration. It is a very good thing. You can find it in their website, and it is a very great initiative. I want to thank all the universities and colleges represented. I want to thank all the financiers who are here, including where are they? Yes, the Korean International Cooperation Agency. If anyone has come, very grateful for that sponsorship. Nairobi County, City County, we want to thank you. KBC Channel 1, we know you are doing it live at 6 p.m. As I told you, we are starting at 6 p.m. live. So please don't leave, just take a break. They will be setting up a bit so that they will be in a good thing, and another crowd will be joining, and we'll be having a great conversation. If you happen to leave early, please follow live, both on YouTube, Kemu, Discover Kemu, Facebook, and also KBC and NCIC channels. I want to thank the people who have really taken care of us, our stomach. We are great. We have eaten to the full. I can see they are preparing something. Kuna kitu ama hakuna? Great. Iko chai kabla tutoke, unajua lazima ni confirm. Kuna kitu tuna confirm, chai iko na mandazi naona ziko pale na sausage natokelezea pale. Najua mambo iko mzuri. Members of management team pale niliwapanga asubuhi, nitawapanga tena hata saa hii. So please don't leave up there. Please walk with the professor up there. He was not in the morning. You know the place. Thank you very much. Our team, digital team, asanteni sana. We really appreciate. There was no hiccup. Mambo imekuwa ikiflow. Very nice. We appreciate, and all the other people who are involved, including everybody who was participating in one way or another. Clap for yourself, please. From the bottom of our hearts as Kenya Methodist University, we really appreciate, and we welcome you when we hear us having such an event or any other. Please welcome, and you are always appreciated. I will this juncture request you to stand up for a national anthem so that we can close officially. Asanteni. Thank you very much. Just one stanza of the East African, please, so that we are compliant. Asanteni sana, Mungu wabariki our panelists and our moderators. Siku wasahau. Thank you very much. This would not happen without you. Have a great evening. You can relax as we wait for the session. Professor Some maybe and something to make it as an announcement. Thank you. I sometimes take that to be a prayer, but it is good. Prof, please come. I sometimes close that as a prayer, but thank you for reminder, Prof.
Let's bow our head in prayer. Mighty and everlasting Father, you've given us an opportunity this day for transgenerational conversation. Lord, many ideas have been shared, and they are like seeds in a garden. We do not harvest fruits immediately, but they have to be tended, and even when they are ready, it will face the elements, the rains, the wind, the birds, the pests. But when we take care of them, we shall reap a harvest. We commit all the generations represented here to you. As the words of our national anthem state, may we be a land of prosperity. May peace be found within our land. And together with other East African nations, we strive to be prosperous. And it is our responsibility individually and collectively. We thank you for the institutions that have organized this conversation. We say blessings upon the leaders in each of those organizations. We want to thank you, Lord, for the future of this country, which is in the hands of people less than 35 years of age. Give them wisdom, O God, as the word tells us in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 5, that you give wisdom liberally without finding fault. And Lord God, you've asked us not to trust in our own understanding, but in everything we do, we acknowledge you, and our plans will succeed. We acknowledge you this evening, O God. We have another event that is coming up. We want to pray and commit it to you. For those of us who will be going to our different places where we came from, we pray for safety and comfort as we go there. As we continue to meditate upon the words that have been said, may we not just be listeners of the word, but be also doers of it. So we want to thank you and to honor you. In Jesus' name we pray. And now may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen.
Thank you, DVC. Asanteni sana. All the journalists, all the panelists, all the moderators, 7th floor. UMB members, 7th floor. Please, let's meet there for a debrief as we conclude and join the rest at 6 p.m. Asanteni. Kindly enjoy the tea as we wait. Those who are leaving, have a great evening. Asanteni.
Monster on the beat, ho, Debo, any rap nigga, he a freak though. Man damn, call her Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro. Nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas tryna see Compton? The industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John.